Hi, and welcome to our video on conducting a congressional meeting for AOTA's 2019 Hill Day. I'm Jill Ty, I'm the Grassroots Impact Specialist here, and this is the Federal Affairs team.
Hi, I'm Heather Parsons. I'm the Vice President of Federal Affairs.
I'm Abe Saffer. I'm a Senior Legislative Representative.
And I'm Andy Vogt, Senior Legislative Representative.
We hope this video helps you prepare for our upcoming Hill Day. Today, we're going to walk you through how a typical meeting might go and how you can approach it and be prepared to advocate for occupational therapy. The first thing you're going to want to do is introduce yourself and where you represent, your school or your place of business. In smaller meetings, say 5 to 8 people, everyone should introduce themselves. In larger meetings, it's okay to choose 1 or 2 people to lead the discussion and say something along the lines of, "We are all students from so-and-so university, and we are all constituents of Representative or Senator so-and-so." So now we're going to do a role play. In this role play, I'm the staffer, Heather, Abe, and Andy are going to be the advocates.
Hi, thank you so much for taking the time to meet with us today. My name is Heather Parsons. I'm a student at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill.
Nice to meet you.
Abe Saffer. I'm an occupational therapist based in Rockingham County School District.
Cool.
And I'm Andy Vogt. I'm a home health OT out of Philadelphia.
Nice. Nice to meet you guys. Keep in mind that not everyone might be familiar with your profession and what exactly OT is and what it does. Ask the staff if they're familiar with OT, and then, even if they are, explain in your own words what OT does and how it helps people across the lifespan live life to the fullest. It's always good to tell your story or give your quick elevator speech and make it personal. It's these personal stories that stick with staffers and members of Congress. If you feel like you need help, don't be afraid to ask others in your group or your teachers for an example of this ahead of time. So now we're going to role play that. And again, I'm the staffer. Heather, Abe, and Andy are the advocates.
Hi, thanks again for taking the meeting.
Of course.
So how familiar are you with occupational therapy?
Not much.
Okay, well let me tell you just a little bit about it. So occupational therapy is a profession that works from cradle to grave.
Mm-hmm.
So, from Abe working in the school system to Andy working probably with people in Medicare. We help people regardless of age to really do those things they need or want to do.
Okay.
So I know that sounds really broad, but if you think about what you did today to get into work, got up, fixed breakfast, got dressed, those are all tasks that if you had an illness or an injury or had a disability might be disrupted and you might have difficulty doing.
Oh.
Even some of the things that you do here at work, organizing yourself, remembering who you've met with, these are all tasks that occupational therapists and occupational therapy assistants help people with. So in the schools it might be participating in school, in home health it might be cooking a meal or taking care of themselves in their home.
Gotcha.
So it's those tasks you kind of take for granted
Mm-hmm.
that we help people do.
So now we're going to role play advocating on each issue. Again, I'm the staffer. Heather, Abe, and Andy are the advocates.
So, are you familiar with the Medicare Home Health Flexibility Act?
I think I've heard of it, but I'm not sure. Tell me more.
Okay. Give you some basic details. On a home health OT, when I go into a home, we perform a lot of different services. But there are formal steps that you have to go through to provide those services through Medicare. It's called, an initial evaluation or a comprehensive evaluation.
Okay.
So right now, there's a Medicare rule that says that an OT can't open these cases, that either a PT or a speech language pathologist has to do it. And there's no real reason for this. No one says that OTs can't do it or that there's really any controversy at all. It's just one of these bureaucratic hurdles. So this bill would effectively change that. One of the real good things about the bill is that it's supported by all the professions that are involved in home health,
Oh,
from
all right.
home health providers to the PTs, to the SLPs. You will not find anyone who's opposed to it. It has bipartisan support. And here you would list your lead sponsors on the bill. And it was scored to have no impact on the budget,
Oh,
which means
wow.
it's not going to cost the taxpayers anything.
Okay.
So, yeah, it's one of these bills that can really have a real impact on the home health care field without causing any problems. So we're hoping to get support from as many representatives as we can. Do you think your boss might be interested in this kind of thing?
Maybe, yeah, I'll take it to him and see what he thinks.
Okay, that'd be wonderful.
All right.
So another issue that we wanted to talk to you about today is the Mental Health Professionals Workforce Shortage Loan Repayment Act.
Okay.
So this is a bill that would help address the shortage of mental health professionals we currently have in the country.
Mm-hmm.
So, for example, 1 out of 5 adults in the United States experience a mental or behavioral health problem in their lifetime.
Mm-hmm.
But there's currently, the HRSA has projected that we're at least 250,000 mental health professionals short.
Oh, wow.
So this legislation would provide loan forgiveness to mental health professionals who go into shortage areas.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be defined by the federal government, but they would be given loan forgiveness for each year of their service in that area for up to 6 years. So this would really help provide timely access to mental health treatment. I know you may be wondering, how does occupational therapy play into this? We are a listed profession. We do work with people with mental illness. So something that people don't think about a lot is that mental illness can really disrupt someone's ability to function and to just complete those activities that we take for granted.
Mm-hmm.
Planning how to prepare a meal, getting to the grocery store. Particularly long-term mental illness can cause cognitive difficulties that can make that a challenge. So occupational therapists are specifically educated to address the functional, the psychosocial, sensory motor, cognitive aspects that occur with behavioral health disorders, and really can help people live in recovery and live as independently as possible with mental illness. So we're a distinct but crucial part of mental health services.
Mm-hmm.
We're thrilled to be included as part of this bill, and beyond occupational therapy being included, we feel like this bill will really help Americans who need access to mental health services. So Grace Napolitano and John Katko are the 2 major leads on the bill, and we'd love to have your boss's support.
Great, I'll ask her.
Okay, great, thanks.
So I wanted to talk to you a little bit about the Allied Health Workforce Diversity Act.
Cool.
Are you familiar at all with it?
Nope.
So it's a bill that would help provide funding specifically to programs that train occupational therapists and assistants, as well as physical therapists, speech-language pathologists, and audiologists. And the funding would be used by these programs to do 3 things. The first is to recruit people that are underrepresented in the professions. These are included people with disabilities, ethnic and racial minorities, that and anyone else that HRSA sort of deems as needed in the profession. The second would be able to provide tutoring and mentorship programs for these students to help them thrive while they're in the program. And then the last one, which conceivably is probably the most important, is just be able to provide scholarships and stipends to these students, because they have to be disadvantaged. They have to have a financial need in order to qualify for it. So it helps to diversify these programs in every setting, which at the same time will also help close some of the shortage gaps that exist in some of the underserved areas.
Great. The staff might have questions for you about the legislation or the profession in general. This is good, it shows interest. Answer them to the best of your ability and knowledge, but don't be afraid to say, I don't know, or I'm not sure, but always follow that up with, I will get back to you with an answer. Offer your contact information or AOTA's Federal Affairs Team's contact info. It's incredibly important to offer yourself as a resource and cultivate a relationship with your legislator and their staff. We can help you figure out the answers afterwards, and it provides a great opportunity to follow up on your meeting. Additionally, don't feel discouraged if you do not get a lot of questions. It just depends on each staffer's style and how busy they may be at that moment.
Before you attend the meeting, be sure to check whether the senator or representative you're going to meet with has already co-sponsored the bill you're going to advocate for. That will be listed on a list in your packet, and if they are a sponsor, co-sponsor, definitely thank them. You don't have to go into all the details of the bill at that point. And if they're one of the leading co-sponsors, especially thank them, because they're the ones who are going to champion this bill. Otherwise, then you just go through your regular routine and explain the benefits of the bill.
And on the Allied Health Workforce Diversity Act, currently it has been introduced in the House and may actually pass the House as part of a larger package by the time Hill Day comes around. But we're still looking for as many co-sponsors as possible for HR 3637 because we want to make sure that it shows the Senate, which it has not been introduced in yet, that that there is a broad range of support. I'm going to let you know on Hill Day in your morning briefing if what the latest status of the bill is, if it's passed or not. But until then, as you're reading through this packet, feel free to just continue to practice your pitch as if it hasn't passed yet.
So the mental health bill also has not been introduced in the Senate. So in that case, you can still talk about this in your Senate meeting. It's a good opportunity to talk about the role of occupational therapy in mental health, which largely the Senate's been very supportive of. So what you can do in that case, since there's not a specific bill, you can ask them to either sponsor a bill, a companion bill, or to support introduction of such a bill. That's the language you'd use.
Always close by making sure to thank the staff for their time and find out if they have any questions. Make sure to take their card so you can have their contact information. And don't forget to follow up with the staff in a few days after your meeting by sending a thank you note. Staff cover a lot of issues, and a follow-up email can help remind them to pay attention to ours.
As a former congressional staffer, I can't emphasize how important that follow-up is. The meetings that you're going to have on Hill Day are only get you about 50% of the way. Staff, when they're really busy, can have a stack of folders of issues that they want to bring to the attention of their boss, but they really don't have enough time to cover all of those issues. If they have an email in their inbox from you and they know that they're going to be that they need to follow up. It's held accountable, but really that they need to follow up with the constituent. It makes it much more likely that they'll pull that folder out, look at the issues, and bring at least one of them to their boss's attention. Sometimes it can take weeks for them to have that time to sit down and talk through the constituent asks, but they'll get that time eventually, and your follow-up will make sure that your issue is one of those issues being discussed. So now we'll finish up.
Mm-hmm.
So Jill, thank you so much for taking the time.
Of course.
I hope you can use us as a resource in our different issue areas.
Mm-hmm.
If your boss has any questions, always reach out to us.
Absolutely.
What is the best way for you to what is the best way for us to get in touch with you?
Probably email. As we exit, I'll give you one of my cards.
Okay, great, thank you
All
so
right.
much.
Thank you
Thanks,
very much.
guys.
Appreciate it.
We hope this video is helpful. Keep in mind, you are the experts. You will be talking about OT. That's your profession. This is your chance to talk about why your career and the profession is important, and ultimately, what Congress can do to ensure that you are able to practice and provide therapy to patients in need at the highest level. Members of Congress and their staff are in DC to represent their constituents, and that means you. And they'll only be able to represent you in a complete way if you tell them what you need. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you at Hill Day.